Welcome back. You're watching Network Africa. I am Adeshawa. The show is coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. You can get all our top stories on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Please visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile devices, especially for our viewers outside of West Africa. Just log on to m.channelstv.com on your mobile device and you will be tuned in. Now you can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Southern Africa is experiencing rising temperatures and drought conditions, which is threatening food security and could lead to a crisis if the weather in the region does not improve anytime soon. The hottest summer Southern Africa has ever experienced brings its devastating effects and rising concerns threatening some 27 million people. Scientists who study climate patterns say that this year is the hottest since the Earth's temperature was first measured 150 years ago. The current weather patterns in the region can be attributed to a combination of this year's intense El Nino event and rising climate change. Some farmers have already started to feel the aftermath of the weather condition.
Farmland in South Africa, cracked and barren, shows just part of the extent of the recent drought that is crippling southern regions of the African continent this year. The intense El Nino, coupled with the rising climate change, are putting farmers like Talent Sele at risk. He's been forced to sell off some of his cattle to ensure the survival of the remaining herd.
We have no choice. It's just to limit our number of the cattle we have in the farm. So by doing that, we have to what? Sell and maintain a certain number that we can handle. Other than that, cattle are just going to be dying all over the place.
Crop farmers are also at risk. Land is usually tilled during the region's rainy season from October to December. So far, there has been no rain in the forecast, so the window for planting crops is closing fast. Francois Engelbrecht is with the Council for Science and Industrial Research in South Africa and says 2015 is the warmest year ever recorded by humans in about 150 years of taking measurements.
9 of the 10 warmest years ever recorded have been recorded over the last 10 years. Now this is part of global warming and the systematic warming of the planet as a result of the enhanced greenhouse effect.
The United Nations World Food Programme estimates close to 27 million people in the region could go hungry if the drought persists. The World Bank has said some 100 million people worldwide could be poverty-stricken if climate change continues to affect weather patterns.
There still is a lot of insecurity, a lot of challenges around the delivery of aid, of getting access, but humanitarian aid is being delivered across the north. And we are, as a humanitarian community, gaining more and more access every day. That's also why we also need our donors to understand that as we gain more access, we actually need more resources to deliver more and deliver better. So again, this is absolutely a top priority for humanitarians, which is now to capitalize on the opportunities of getting to people who have been without very basic services for quite some time.
The weather phenomenon, among the strongest on record, is likely to cause more floods and droughts, fuel Pacific typhoons and cyclones, and affect more areas if it continues strengthening as forecast over the coming months.
Leaders of the European Union are getting ready to meet their African counterparts in Malta today to discuss the growing migrant crisis and how to help reduce the outflow from Africa. Reports say EU leaders could propose cash and other aid to the African leaders with the hopes that it will slow the flow of migrants crossing the Mediterranean from the continent. The summit, among the 16th century fortifications at Valletta, was conceived 6 months ago after the sinking of a refugee boat from Libya took over 800 lives. Negotiations with Turkey, temporary home to over 2 million Syrians on slowing departures to Greece, will be at the center of further talks among the EU leaders alone on Thursday. Now, you could be $27 million richer if you know the whereabouts of 6 leaders of the Somalia-based Al-Shabaab group. That's because the U.S. government has put a bounty on them and is prepared to reward everyone and anyone with information on their whereabouts. The highest reward is $6 million for the group's leader, Abu Ubaidah. Among those being hunted is Mahat Karate, also known as Abdurrahman Mohammed Wasim, believed to be a key player in the attack on a Kenyan university, which killed 148 people. Now, let's bring you the names of these militants and the rewards that are attached to them. They're coming up on your screen right now. $6 million for Abu Ubaidah, also known as Direye, named as Al-Shabaab leader in September 2014. $5 million for Mahat Karate, also known as Abdurrahman Mohammed, accused of playing a key role in Garissa University College attack in Kenya. $5 million for Mahalim Daoud, who is, the U.S. thinks is responsible for Al-Shabaab's recruitment and training. Also $5 million for Hassan Afguye, who is believed to oversee the financing of Al-Shabaab. $3 million for Mahalim Salman, who the U.S. says he has been involved in operations in Africa targeting tourists. And finally, $3 million for Ahmed Iman Ali, who the U.S. believes to have recruited Kenyans. Another short break on Network Africa. When we come back, 8 South African policemen sentenced to 15 years in prison for the murder of a Mozambican taxi driver.